Good morning. It's I can't remember what the day is. I think it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday the 28th. We are, I'm gonna say, out of grass or whatever. We're not completely out, but the quality what we have is not what we want to be sending out. And we've got ground, we've got a bunch of stuff we need to be doing. So we're gonna take this time to get everything we've got to get done before mowing season, watering, spraying, fertilizing. For all that starts, we've got a bunch of stuff we've got to get through, and then we've got to sprig about, I think it's anywhere from 60 to 100 acres, something like that. I can't remember what the exact number is, and depending on if we choose to do any more. So I'm gonna go through everything we've got to get done, and I don't know how much of everything I'll film, but I'll try and get this video to y'all and kind of explain what we've got going on around the farm for the next few weeks, and until we start waiting on some good warm weather to start sprigging. So this is our first thing we gotta work on. It's our 3-phase generator for our pivots. Our 3-phase, we didn't have 3-phase for a few years, for a long time. We've only had it like 2 years now. That was close enough that we could tie onto it. Everything was about 1.5 miles to 3, or I think it was maybe been 2 miles away. But the way for it to get to us would take about 2.5, 3 miles. So we always run everything off these 3-phase generators. And so it's been sitting all winter, hadn't been run. So we've pulled the battery off yesterday, gonna get it charged up. We're gonna change the oil in it, check the coolant, change filters. Just make sure it's ready to roll for when we start firing up the water again. We also gotta, like I said, we gotta sprig some ground. So I got a bunch of parts over here that we're gonna throw on that new sprigger we bought. That thing's got like 300 acres on it. Those look like, those are cut parts. I don't know where them parts are. I was gonna show you the parts, but I don't know where they're at. Oh, here they are. We got about 300 acres. That sprigger we bought's got about 300 acres on it. I bought some extra bearings. I don't think we got any out, but we've got them on hand. And then we got some teeth for the rollback system. So we're going to, and I think we got a hitch somewhere because the hitch is broke. Yeah, there's the hitch. Oops. The bottom of this is broke off on the other one. So we're going to get that put on. We got to tighten some chains up on it and just kind of go through it and get it up to, I guess I'd say, our standards or whatever. We just like to keep stuff up to snuff as good as the best we can. So now I'll take you out here and show you everything else we got to get done. I gotta get some goats put up too. Them crazy things. But I'll see y'all in just a second. I'll show you, I worked on this the other day. We were busy, and I'm still getting the hang of using this camera and remembering to video what I'm doing. So this is our root digger. Digs all of our sprigs. It's an older machine. I think it's like a 79 model or something like that. It is it's a 90 model. I'm sorry. I think our other one's 70 something. But I just put all new teeth in it. I don't know if you can see them down there. Maybe I'll show you better up here. Yeah, right here. Put all new teeth on it. Put some new belts on it here. They were getting pretty wore. Tighten the chain up. When it gets closer to time to run, I will check the gearboxes because they leak a little bit, so there's no point to fill them up now. They'll just probably be out by the time we run it again. And then grease it up, and this machine should be ready to go. So we'll see how that goes, but that right there will go behind the 5100 to dig all of our roots, and we'll dig them into the back of our dump trailer there. So, and then we've been disking ground, breaking ground. We've got like the ground that's froze out. We're gonna have to re-sprig. So we've been running this. I think we're about done pulling the disc. We're fixing to hook the cultivator up and start dragging it around. We got to drag the box blade across a couple what we're not plowing up that's been cut off. We've got to drag across, get all the scraps up, clean some of the tire ruts up and stuff like that. So I'll show y'all how we do that when we get time to do that. It's a little wet today, and if this wind's terrible, I'm sorry. It's Oklahoma, it blows all the dang time. But the sprayer, we had a little bit of water get left in it, so we got a couple filter housings we got to replace on it. Those are on order. I got another piece that's on order. We just put a tire on it. This needs greased and the tires checked and gear oil checked. This one doesn't have any gearbox. No, it doesn't have a gearbox. But just go through that. Root digger, or the sprigger. We got to tighten these chains up, the rollback chains. We'll check all the chains and tighten all those up. Like I said, we'll put the hitch on the front, grease it, and it should be ready to go. This tractor, I guess I'm gonna take tires off, take them and put new tires on. I guess they're old and they're leaking around the beads. I can't get them to seal. I've messed with them, so we'll get that done. This should be ready to go. I know I've got to drag it outside and let this is our hose reel. I got to drag it outside and let the solar panel charge battery back up to run the computer in it. But this out here is what we water this in front of the house with. You drag that out. Booster pump pumps about 160 to 170 psi water through it. That thing shoots like 100, I want to say it's like 180, 200 foot, maybe more than that. I can't remember. But so we'll get it ready to go. This got to be greased. Check all the bearings. I think, yeah, we put blades on it right before we quit last year, so that'll be easy. Let's just hook it up and grease it. Should we go? These trucks, this one might have to go to the shop. We don't know yet. I've got clutch stuff going on with it. This one should be fine. We just done a bunch of work to it. The cutter, I think we just did a bunch of work to it too. We changed some bushings on some cylinders, and Dad rebuilt some stuff on the head up here. I think it should be fine. We may wash it before it sets for a little while, but it ain't gonna set too long, maybe a couple weeks or so. But skid steer, it's up because we John Deere came out yesterday. They came out a few days ago. Came out yesterday and put a hydraulic filter switch system, switch or sensor. They call it a switch. I'm gonna say it's a sensor because it was throwing a code and derating the power. So that should be ready to go. And I'm trying to think what else we got going. If we have time, we're gonna order the parts and try and put that fertilized buggy back together. It's been modified, so we're gonna try and put it back to a fertilized buggy and not a live bottom pecan wagon. We picked pecans for a few years, and some places only had 15-20 trees, so we needed a small wagon to put pecans in. So we put a hydraulic motor on the back of that, enough pecans in it, and then you can run them small batches through them. But I think that's kind of where we're at. After we get done dragging the disc, which I'm probably going to unhook it here after a while and hook on the cultivator, and we're going to drag it, try and level them fields off and firm them up, and then we'll drag our land plane. And that land plane's probably something that a lot of people haven't seen unless you're from our area or somewhere where they flood irrigate or something, because there's not a lot of people that are dragging those. I don't think. I could be wrong. But oh, and here's our other nightmare we've got going on right now. This is our irrigation pump, and if you remember, we did a video on tearing it down. Had 8,000 hours on it, used a bunch of oil. So when we got into it, we figured out that we had a cylinder that had some pitting in it. So we decided we were going to go ahead and send it off to the machine shop, have it bored and all that. Well, that was 3 months ago, and we're getting the runaround from the machine shop. We're not sure if they've lost our block or got our block confused with somebody else's or what, but they're not telling us our block's bad. So it's March 28th. It ain't gonna be long, and we're gonna be needing to pump some water. So we got on Facebook Marketplace and we found a power unit. It's a Cummins motor. It's a 6-cylinder instead of 4-cylinder, so we'll get a little more horsepower out of it. And it was about $6,000 cheaper than what buying a new motor was going to be. So Mom and Dad went to Louisiana to pick that up last night. They're headed back right now. So it's been eventful around here, and it seems like everything's broke. So it's going to be a busy, crazy spring. So there ought to be some good videos coming out, as long as you don't get tired of listening to me, and just be patient with my video editing skills, because I'm still learning. So, but back in here in the shop now, as you can tell, I'm gonna get this running and change it. I'm gonna check the oil. I can't remember. I'm looking our book and see if we've got the date we changed it, and we might change the oil and we may not, and get that ready to go. So y'all stick around. Well, I think I found my problem. I got my voltmeter out, as you can see there, and I made sure my battery's got like 13.6 in it. And then I traced that back over here to my ignition switch. You hit my ignition switch, it comes out of both sides out of it, all that power in. Turn the key, power goes out. Traced it over there, and I'm getting 11.4 at the starter. That's where I've got my voltmeter hooked on that. So that tells me that more than likely the starter's bad. So we're just gonna pull it off and take it and we'll get it checked out in town. We got a little starter build in place, and I guess that'll be after we get that back, then we can start to change oil in it. But that's what I'm gonna do, is jerk that starter off there and put it in the pile of more stuff to take to town and get fixed. So I'm gonna throw y'all on time lapse and jerk it off there real quick. Alright, that's pretty quick. Got that off there. Always be sure and put your bolts back in your holes. You won't have to worry about losing them. So I'm probably gonna take this thing over here, hook some jumper cables to it just to make sure, see if I can make it do something, and that'll tell me if it's bad, or if maybe I do have a bad battery or something, because we've had it at the shop before, but that sticker's where we can rebuild that. So I'm gonna tinker with it and see what I can make it do. Just got a set of jumper cables here and a battery that I know is good, and Dad's old pickup that he's been working on. Hook that one's positive. Hook this into the negative. Then just hook this on the deal itself here. And yeah, I ain't getting nothing out of that. That's what we can do here. I'm gonna clamp that on there and go grab a screwdriver real fast and see what I can see.
Do not recommend trying this at home. Put that on there. This goes right there. Yeah, they ain't giving me nothing. Yep, I'm guessing something bad in this starter. So we're gonna take it to town and let them check it out. I got that starter off, so they're calling for some rain. So I'm gonna go swap this disc out for a cultivator until we can't run across some stuff before it rains. Today's Tuesday, it's supposed to rain again Thursday. So I'm just checking the oil in the old 8200 here. It's good to go. I'm gonna walk back here and put eyes on the hydraulic fluid level. This one's easy, it's got a sight glass. Makes things nice. You can see it, it's in the, I can see it up in that sight glass there. You may not be able to, but we're gonna drag this out there where we park the equipment. We park the, I guess you call it the tillage equipment, I don't know what you want to call it, and get the cultivator hooked up. So alrighty, I'll see y'all in a minute. We got the cultivator hooked up. I'm gonna pull over to the shop and shoot some air in some tires and probably grease some joints on it. Go dig some ground up, so I'll stick around. Well, I had 6 low tires, shot some grease in some joints, and then I had a loose, I guess you call it some loose U-bolts that kind of hold a bracket on there. So I put the nuts was going off the end of it, so I just put a couple new nuts on it and tightened them up. We should be good to go for a little while. We're gonna go see what we can get done. Made it down here. It's doing pretty good. I waited a little bit before I start videoing just so I can watch everything, since it's the first time we've used this thing this year. So we got a few acres right here, probably 10 or 15, something like that. And then we got some ground up there on the north side of this that's got to have that we got to re-sprig. So gonna make a few passes back and forth and see what we can get done. We gotta do this, drag this probably twice just to kind of get everything busted up, and then we'll have to drag our land plane across it. That takes a while. This is 12 foot at a time, and you gotta go pretty slow. This old 200 horse tractor don't like it too much. We need a bigger horse, but we just can't justify it right now. So we'll make do with what we got. So see y'all later. Well, I called it quits for the evening. I got about a half of it done down there. The other half, there's a few spots that are just right on the verge of being dry enough and being too wet. So I'm just gonna give it another day. That's the way this wind's blowing. It'll dry out pretty quick. We'll ought to be able to start again tomorrow about noon, hopefully, and not have any problems, be able to get across all of it. So I got a few things I'm gonna do around the house, and I'm gonna call it an evening. So it's gonna be the end of the video. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all later.